What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. HumbleSwap has launched on the ALGORAND blockchain, and HumbleSwap aims to be an extremely secure and easy to use DeFi platform for the average person, which is a good thing because the average person is the average person. That includes the majority of the population, not those who are deep into crypto or who know all about swapping and DeFi and staking and liquidity. This is for the normal person, and we want that. We want more eyes, more liquidity, more people coming into the project. And the normal person is, well, the majority of the population because they're the normal person. Also, before we get too deep into this, I wanted to talk a little bit about ALGORAND and that rug pull. That's right. We had a rug pull on the ALGORAND blockchain in ALGORAND, and interestingly enough, just yesterday morning, I was actually thinking about getting into it when I'd heard about it. I went to their website. I saw their little trailer. The trailer looked good, but it didn't have very much info or meat and potatoes in it. It had a lot of words. It had cool music. It looked pretty actiony. Kind of got your adrenaline pumping a little bit with that action music and words saying, this is what you're going to be able to do, all this stuff. But when it came down to it, it didn't really have much sustenance. So I figured I would let other people try it out, kind of follow it a little bit, and see maybe later if I was going to get into it. But that's when, later on that day, it rug pulled. It had over $1 million, and now it has nothing. I did go to the website this morning, and it doesn't even work. So looks like they took the money and ran. So that brings me to the point that I have said before. Never invest more than you can comfortably lose. Never invest more than will affect your lifestyle. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I am someone, however, who has had the cryptocurrency market and the traditional market, for that matter, pretty much any market, slap me around a whole bunch of times. I have the bruises and the scars and things like that from it, and I want to prevent you guys from going through those kinds of battles. And a big way to protect yourself is don't invest more than you're comfortable losing. And besides, as long as you don't invest more than what you're comfortably losing and your lifestyle isn't affected, you can survive the dips. But if you can't survive the dips, you can't see the gains on the other side. And there are always going to be dips. There is never going to be a project that goes straight up, and never goes down. Never, never, never. And if there was a project that went straight up and shot straight up, I probably wouldn't invest in it. I'd be paranoid. I'd be like, when is the dip going to happen? When am I supposed to sell? What is going on here? No, I would stay away from it. When are you going to get in? Where's your entry point on a project that keeps going straight up? I mean, that would be really, really weird. But if you can't survive the dips, then how do you expect to see the gains? All right. HumbleSwap aims to make DeFi safe for everyone. Launches today. Boston, home of MIT, home of the Boston Federal Reserve, home of ALGORAND, home of Silvio Macaulay. All this interesting connection stuff in Boston. HumbleSwap is on a mission to make the decentralized finance, or DeFi, world safer and accessible to everyone. And I like that. Accessible to everyone. That's who we want. Who do we want on the ALGORAND blockchain? Everyone. HumbleSwap is a new decentralized exchange that has passed stringent security assessment to ensure customer funds safety. Yes, they have been audited, and we'll get into that in a little bit. I've pulled up their website up here, so we'll get into that here in a few sentences. In preparation for the launch, Chris Swenner, Reach co-founder and CEO, said, "We engaged with Kudelski Security to perform an audit for the HumbleSwap smart contract. The assessment tested the code developed on the Reach platform, focusing on the overall security and risks within the code environment. The Kudelski security findings during the audit triggered no changes, risks, or overall security warnings, not even at a low risk level, pointing out that HumbleSwap contains no backdoor or vulnerability available to exploit. As a result, Humble received only one piece of feedback from the informational level. Sandeep Kaur, director of the DeFi at Humble, said, "This proves that HumbleSwap is one of the securest DEXs on the crypto market, providing the highest degree of protection for the assets of customers and investors." And Kudelski Securities is really no joke. Here is their site. Pretty nice, crisp. They've got a lot of partners. I have a pretty good high confidence that Kudelski Security is good. They know their stuff. I've explored it. They've got some tips down at the bottom for you to kind of peruse resources, events, news, things like that. Definitely go over to their site. Check it out if you would like. HumbleSwap is secure because it uses the Reach blockchain programming language, the safest way to write blockchain apps. And this is all good news. We want that average person, the average Joe, the average Jane. We want them to look at it, and we want it to be easy, because if you have this awesome project, like, I don't know, let's say you have Sandcoin, and it's this amazing project, and it does all these amazing things. But to get into Sandcoin, you have to fill out all these forms, and then you have to climb Mount Everest to pick up this blade of grass. Then you have to go to the developer to prove to them that you've got this blade of grass. And then they've got to do a test to make sure that the blade of grass really is from the top of the mountain and this and that. And nobody's going to do it. The harder it is to do, the less likely people are to do it. And I know from experience when talking to people who don't know much about these Bitcoins, I know a lot of elderly people, and that's what they call them, Bitcoins. How's the Bitcoins? Oh, they're doing good. They're doing good. But even people that are of a younger age that you'd think were technically savvy when you get into talking about swapping and liquidity pools, and then the dangers of like impermanent loss, and when you get into staking pools and the differences between them and what DeFi is, it all sounds pretty daunting to them. And it doesn't to me, but that's because I have experience. I mean, I went through the normal mode of things too when I first got into cryptocurrency. I got into Bitcoin and stayed. Didn't do anything. I didn't even know anything else existed. And then over time, you kind of check a few things like, oh, well, what is this project? What is this project? And you gradually go down the rabbit hole. Once you're deep into it and you unpack everything all at once in front of somebody, it looks daunting. So anything we can have that would be easy, that would be user-friendly, that the average person can use, that's going to add liquidity. And remember, if you don't have liquidity, you got nothing. I don't care how good your project is. I don't care how many transactions per second, how fast your finality time is. If you have no liquidity, you've got nothing. Without the cash, it doesn't exist. And this is good. This is going to bring cash. Because who's the average person? Well, the majority of people. How much cash do we want on Algorand? The majority of it. So we want the majority of people on it. And word of mouth. If the majority of people get onto a project and it's easy to use, they can go to their friends and say, hey, check this out. It's easy to use. And I know you've asked about these Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies and things. And I know you wanted to get into it and it seemed really confusing. Well, I found this really easy way. Come on, George. Let me show you how it's done. It's easy. There we go. Launching on the ALGORAND network, Humble is a part of a growing set of DeFi products on its innovative blockchain. Algorand is so innovative, so ahead of its time. I feel like once the world knows about Algorand, and I'm not saying people don't know about Algorand. I've seen some comments on the channel from people before, like, how do you mean people don't know about Algorand? How is Algorand a hidden gem? Okay, it's a hidden gem because not as many people know about it. If you got on top of a billboard, or on top of like a soapbox with a million people around you, the average Joe, that's what we're talking about here, the average person, and you said Bitcoin, everyone's perk their ears up and say, yep, I know what Bitcoin is. If you say Ethereum, a whole lot of people, not all of them, are going to perk their head up and say, yep, I know what Ethereum is. If you say, let's see, if you say Cardano, a few people might pick their heads up. If you say Algorand, not very many people are going to know what you're talking about. You can say, what is this Algorand? Tell me about it. That's what I mean. It's not this extremely well-known gem. It's a gem, absolutely. But the average Joe getting into it, well, they've got to know about it first. And this is going to bring eyes on it. This is going to bring the average Joe in. I like it. Daniel Oon, head of DeFi at ALGORAND Foundation, said HumbleSwap serves an important function in the ALGORAND DeFi ecosystem. DEXs are the main gateway to how our users transact and obtain Algorand standard assets on Algorand. HumbleSwap launched on March 28th. I like it. The average Joe, the average person, the average dollar. Because in the end, it's about the dollar bills. Humble DeFi is on a mission to make DeFi accessible to everyone. Everyone should be on Algorand. Everyone's money should be in my project. Everyone's dollar should be on the project that my dollar's in. That should be your attitude. You've done your research. You like the project. You believe in the project. It's not going anywhere. So why not believe that everybody's dollar should go where your dollar is? Because your dollar is a smart dollar. Because you're smart. You put your money in a smart spot. Why wouldn't you want everybody else to be just as smart? Accessible to everyone by creating safe and easy to use and powerful DeFi products. It's starting with HumbleSwap, a DEX built with reach and a faster, safer, simpler way to build decentralized apps. I think with the combination of so many different things that we're seeing on the Algorand network, I think it could steal away a large portion from Ethereum. It's faster, it's cheaper, it's scalable, and Ethereum can be pretty complicated. When you get into Ethereum, if you want to make money off Ethereum, I mean, you've got to be deep into crypto. You got to know what you're doing. It can be fairly complicated for the average person just getting into cryptocurrencies. They want it simple. They want it easy to use. I appreciate your time. I thank you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys are some of the smartest people on the webs. I thank you, and I will see you guys on the next one.